When did life get so damn expensive?
When did it happen?
I don't know what to do. Like, society is fucked. Your paychecks, your savings, your cost of living. In fact, life as you know it is about to change.
Well, you got what you voted for. So my groceries, I used to pay between $150 to $200.
You're going to be punished yourself. But just like all of you MAGAs, you are so
eggs. We can't afford our rent. We can't afford our prescriptions. We can't afford insulin. We can't afford healthcare. We can't afford our education.
It's just we are a consumer country. If nobody has extra money to consume,
30% of a household's gross income, that's your income before taxes, that can be spent on rent and utilities.
People are fed up. Rent is too high, grocery costs too much, insurance keep on climbing, bills keep coming, the paycheck, soon it arrives, it disappears. And many Americans have cut back everything they can. And many are asking, what exactly are we supposed to cut next? You guys let me know down below the comment. What have you been cutting? What have you been not cutting? Or you've been fine with the economy? And if you are new here, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, and don't forget to hype me up, hype me up, hype me up. All right, let's check out this video.
There used to be affordable states in the United States that had a decent cost of living. That's no longer a thing.
Do you make enough money to live comfortably here? A new study by Smart Asset is revealing the answer. This year, the Sunshine State ranked 23rd in the nation for the annual income needed to live comfortably. For a single adult, it now takes more than $100,000 a year. For a family of four, it's more than $223,000. It could be worse for Florida residents. In Hawaii, a single adult needs to earn $129,000 a year to live comfortably, the highest amount of any state.
It seems like every single year the cost of living increases. If it's rent, if it's mortgage, if it's property tax, if it's groceries, gas, no matter what the case is, the cost of living always increases. And in order to feel comfortable, you have to have a high-paying career. You have to have multiple streams of income. Or in most cases, you have to have a household where there's multiple people living underneath the same roof. I'm talking about not just husband and wife, aunts, uncles. The fact that you have to make $223,000 in order to live comfortably and raise a family is concerning. I don't know what happened. I don't know where the money is going. But what I do know is the best thing you can do now is save money. One of the things that you can do to save money is use apps like youneedabudget.com or Monarch. I think that's how you pronounce it. But my go-to is Julius because it's the only budgeting app that allows you to budget without you having to check on the app. It comes to you. Either or, it's kind of crazy where the economy is going and that the politicians that we've been voting for are not really working in our favor.
Listen, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of complaining about how expensive things are, but let me just complain for a minute because I just was on my phone ordering my daughter's school pictures, and she is a junior in high school, so this is not like senior pictures or anything like that. It's just the regular schmegular back to school photo. Tell me why for one digital download of one image, just one shot, one digital download, not getting any physical pictures, it was like $52. I'm about to crash out.
Right now, raise your hand if you can relate to this comment. So Shay said, I literally spend the majority of my time trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my rent the next month. I'm constantly stressed and it has really taken a toll on my health. Raise your hand if you can relate to Shay. And I'm going to go ahead and raise my hand because I understand what she's saying. To have to constantly worry and stress about how you're just going to pay the bills and afford basic necessities, it's insane. And this is the reality for a lot of people. I know people that have two-person incomes still struggling. I know people who make six figures still struggling. And none of these people are living above their means, literally struggling just to survive. Okay. And again, when you constantly have stress present in your body, that starts to take a toll on your body. You're literally breaking your body down when you're in a constant state of stress. You're in survival mode. And if you know anything about survival mode, you know what it does to the body and your mental, right? And if you don't, go ahead and follow me because that's what I talk about on my page. But anyways, This is the reality for so many people. And it comes from a post where I was just talking about the housing crisis and the state of the job market right now. There are so many people in need of assistance and they cannot get it because the programs that do offer assistance are depleted of their funds because they're so inundated with requests from people, again, and these are working people, not people just sitting on their ass taking advantage of the system. These are working people who need assistance and can't get it because, again, there are so many. This is the reality for so many of us. So I don't know. Shay, I feel you, girl. I feel you.
I don't know if some of these mechanics think some of us women got dumbass wrote on our forehead. But have you lost your mind? You're gonna give me an estimate of $1,700. I asked you how much is the labor. You tell me $300. So guess what? You do the calculations of that. Y'all trying to tell me the part itself is about $1,400. And I'm looking at it online for about $100. Go to hell.
Everything is a fucking scam. Everything. And it's fucking exhausting to have to try to navigate the world and try to avoid being scammed out of money everywhere you go. From fucking grocery shopping to healthcare to fucking the government to cryptocurrency to the stock market. It doesn't matter. It's all a scam. The stock market is run by 1% of the country who have enough money to manipulate the market to make sure it does what they want it to do so they can make more money. The fucking cryptocurrency is all bullshit. Grocery prices, they're going to start using surveillance pricing on you. Healthcare, you go to the hospital, you get a bill for $20,000. You get home, you ask them for an itemized bill, and all of a sudden your bill goes down by 50%. Why? Because they're scamming you from the first place. Health insurance is a fucking scam. Everything is a scam. No, you want to escape the scams? You want to just get away from it all? Well, I'll just scroll on social media. That's a scam. They're stealing your fucking data and making money off of you that way. Oh, maybe I'll just watch TV. Well, there's 150 million different streaming services that are all trying to scam you. Oh, I'll go to a concert. No, can't go to a concert because Ticketmaster is scamming you. Everywhere you fucking go, it's a scam. Even fucking funeral services. You can't die in this country without having to try to navigate around being fucking scammed. It's fucking exhausting and I hate it here.
Hi guys, I just want to talk about money real quick because I am broke. It's bad. I have a corporate job. I have been out of college for 4 years. I work my ass off. I like my job. I really like my company and the people that I work with, but I do not get paid enough. And I live in Chicago. And I am moving into my first apartment living by myself. And I am terrified. I think fear kind of got the best of me. My priorities were finding a place that is nice. I feel safe. I have a rooftop so I can have some private outdoor time, which I desperately need. I wanted to be near people that I know in an area in a building that feels safe because those are things that I feel like will save me living alone for my first time. And maybe I'm not having enough confidence in myself and I'll be fine. I would have been fine in like a total shithole, which is what I could afford. But that's what I did. So that being said, what you're going to see is nice. It's nice. However, we need to be fucking transparent because the economy is so disgustingly horrible right now. I have, after rent and all my bills and everything, $175 a week. And that's not like a budget where there's more I can tap into. That is what I have, point blank. That is the money that exists. It does not exist past that. If I spend that, I do not have money. I can't buy groceries. I can't buy gas. I can't do anything. And that is the reality of 2026. And it's disgusting. And I know a lot of us are living in that. And my apartment is going to be pretty, but just know that's where I'm looking at. $175 a week. And that is for replacing things in my apartment, toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies, all of that, because I now live by myself and will have to be getting that on my own. That is for gas, parking, really all transportation, food, groceries, going out. And then it's like, if there are times when I don't want to go out because I don't want to spend money, so I want to like have a girl over for a happy hour instead, people that I want to catch up with and like really form friendships with there, since I'm going to be on my own. That is really, really important to me. So I have these drinks scheduled and sometimes I'm not going to be able to afford to go out to a happy hour. And so I'm going to be like, hey, just come over to mine. We can have a drink there, which means I'm going to need to be able to have wine and stuff at my house. So that's in the budget. I'm a bit worried, but this is just the reality of my life right now, and I'm gonna have to figure it out. But that money just went to move-in fees. I have a storage unit because I had to have all of my stuff in Chicago because I couldn't afford a big U-Haul, and I was moving by myself. So I got movers, which was probably financially irresponsible, but like, I'm on my own. Like, what am I supposed to do? So that money's going towards that. I'm really glad that I had this month to save up because now I'm realizing that there are like actual expenses that I need to pay that I need money for. And if I didn't have that from this month, I wouldn't have had the money. Like, I don't know what would have happened. I would have been fucked. So there had all these like dream lists of things that I wanted to, as I was moving into my apartment, like decor, rugs, all the stuff. No, you just fucking can't. I have a whole vision for this apartment and it's gonna be great. I've saved a lot of great stuff over the years. I can't afford to buy what I want for this apartment to look the way I want it to. So I'm gonna have to do the best with what I can. And there's also things that I really wanted to be able to have a livable space, like shelves and like kitchen supplies, pots, pans, silverware. I'm at a point where those things that you use every day and help you stay sane, and those things are disposable to me now because money is so tight. It's just brutal out here. And I'm not saying this to be like, feel bad for me. I'm saying this to be like, it is so hard right now. And we see so much on social media. And it's like, I am Gen Z. I party. I dress well. I do all the things. I support myself. I work my ass off. And I don't earn what I need. And so I just wanted to put it out there that the apartment I'm going to be moving into and showing on my TikTok is nice. But I want you to know what's actually going on because it's important to me not to misrepresent myself as someone that is wealthy. Because I know so many people are struggling and social media, it's a cliche, but it makes it look like everyone's doing great. And I don't know if they are, but I'm certainly not. So just wanted to make that clear. I always say you have to be rich to be rich because people are like, invest in something that'll last a long time that you won't have to replace. It'll cost you less in the long run. Well, I don't have that money right now, so I have to buy things that might fall apart in a year. And no, I can't buy 3 huge bookshelves on Facebook Marketplace that are already built and gorgeous and old and I would get a good value for because I cannot transport them. I can't go pick that up in my shitty little fucking Honda Accord from 2004 that the ceiling's falling off of. I can't do that. I don't know anyone with a truck. I can't rent a U-Haul. What the fuck? I can't. How can you just do that? You have to have money already to be able to do those things for yourself. That's a small example because it's what I'm thinking about because I just bought these bookcases from IKEA that are like $40 each and they're going to probably last me a year, but I need bookshelves in my apartment. I need storage. And so that's all I can fucking afford to do. Anyways, join me on my journey as I move into my first studio apartment.
So apparently, if you make under $29.84 an hour here in Georgia, you cannot afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment. And we won't even talk about mortgages. So let's look at this data from the National Low Income Housing Coalition because they recently pulled together numbers of how much you'd need to make per hour to afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment and utilities in your area. Now, the state of Georgia is listed at $29.84. To me, that feels low. I feel like if you're making $29.84, you cannot comfortably afford a 2-bedroom apartment and utilities. But that's just me. So before we dive into some of this zip code data, let's talk about how they defined affordability in the study. They took a maximum of 30% of a household's gross income, that's your income before taxes, that can be spent on rent and utilities, not just rent and utilities. So let's look at some of this zip code data here in Atlanta. Here you can see East Atlanta, Bankhead, West Midtown, and some of these numbers are just shocking. I mean, if you've ever looked for apartments here, you know that rent prices are just insane, but seeing it written out like this is wild. If you feel like you're drowning, if you feel like you can't keep up, if you feel like rent is too expensive, you are not alone. These numbers are wild. It's a problem.
So the CEOs are finally saying what regular people have been saying for a while now. People are broke. And when I say people, I mean the average American consumer. because apparently Kraft, McDonald's, and Whirlpool are all looking at their sales numbers and going, now wait a damn minute. Where did everybody's money go? The CEO of Kraft basically said lower income consumers are running out of money by the end of the month and dipping into their savings. McDonald's is saying consumers are feeling this heightened anxiety, especially with gas prices and everyday expenses going up. In Whirlpool, people are putting off buying appliances because apparently that $1,500 refrigerator can wait. But what really gets me is you raise the price of groceries, you raise the price of rent, you raise the price of gas, you raise the price for everything from a chicken sandwich to a washing machine. And then everybody is shocked when the consumer says, you know what, I'm going to keep that $40 in my account. And this is why the economy can look good on paper, while regular people feel like they are fighting for their lives financially. People aren't necessarily saying, I don't want your product. They're saying they literally can't afford it right now. And maybe the consumer is just tired of being charged like they got CEO money on a regular person's salary. And honestly, that might be the most important economic warning, because when people stop buying the things they want, the next question is, what happens when they start struggling to afford the things they actually need? Because at that point, people just aren't cutting back on spending. They're cutting back on living. And that's when companies, policymakers, and everybody else should be bringing the cost of living way down. Actually, it should have never got this out of hand.
Mainers, this one's for the parents. How are we actually affording rent right now? I'm 54. I've got 2 kids. Both moved back home with me. Rent is $25.06 a month. That's a family trying to keep a roof over their head and keep the lights on. And I'm not alone. A record 25 million adults under 35 are living with their parents right now, and most of them have jobs. Having a job isn't enough anymore. You need to make about $67,000 a year to afford a 2-bedroom rental in Maine without drowning in it. The average Maine renter makes $18 an hour. That's not even close. Even our own governor said it. She proposed relief checks this year because grocery and goods prices are climbing due to the tariffs. This isn't a talking point. The governor said it. These are the same terrorists Paul LePage told Fox News he's all for, and he's running for Congress on that record. I need this fixed because my kids did everything right and still can't afford to move out. If any other parents have real strategies that are actually working, tell me because I'm running out of them.
It is literally only 9 a.m., but I am so heated and I just need to rant because the cost of living here in Michigan is getting out of control. And if you agree, keep listening. As a recently divorced mom of 2 kids, I am so tired of the cost of living being so unaffordable between groceries, rent, gas, healthcare, clothing, and more. Everyday essentials are costing more and more every day thanks to inflation and new tariffs. I personally have been feeling the effects of it, and I know so many others are as well. The fact that people have to pick and choose what bills they can pay or how much gas they can put in their tank to get by, or even groceries that they can get to live on until their next paycheck is crazy. Even energy rates are being affected due to the White House shifting infrastructure costs onto households, causing already struggling families to struggle even more by getting hit with insanely high bills as a result from blocking federal disaster aid for rural cooperatives that are hit with extreme weather. Then, with the expiration of enhanced healthcare subsidies driving insurance rates up, which some people rely on for medical issues, including mental health, and are now being forced to choose between care and other life necessities. I personally haven't had health insurance for a couple of months due to the healthcare premiums being so high that I can't afford it on top of gas, groceries, and other necessities for me and my kiddos. Thankfully, at least my kids qualify for Medicaid right now, which Trump is actively trying to cut for so many families that rely on it, especially rural communities who are hit the hardest. Literally, so many things that we all rely on to live are at risk for being affected, cut, or blocked by this administration, and it is time that we stand up and say enough is enough. These are all real issues that affect real people daily. So call your Republican representatives and demand that they take action to put families first.
Hey, yo, check this out. Can we be honest? When did life get so damn expensive? When did it happen? When did making a decent amount of money mean you can no longer afford to live and enjoy any of the comforts of life? Who made that decision? And how did they implement this thing so seamlessly that none of us knew it was coming? Well, some of us had an idea, but we're here now. So the question is, where do we go from here? Now, you see all kind of things online that says, come make money doing this business and doing that business. But all you're really doing is paying money to somebody else so they can make money. Now, I'm not saying that for everything. But we really need to take a second, stop and think. Where do we go from here?
I get an email back today to be like, sorry, you're not qualified enough for this role. I'm actually overqualified for this role. Everything you're asking in this role, I have done plus tenfold, and you're saying that I'm underqualified. I don't know what to do. Like, society is fucked. No matter what I apply for, I can't get a role. I can't get an interview. If I do get an interview, it's great, and they interview me to say, or they email me to say that they enjoyed having me as an interview, you were outstanding and all this stuff, but we're going to go internal, which is great. Fantastic. Go internal. But then there's no feedback. And even on the other interviews that I've had that I genuinely thought I did, and I did it all right, did good. Crystal can't English today. And there's no feedback. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, no matter how hard I try, I am now going to end up like my mother of being overqualified and not having a job. And I don't want to do that life. I don't want to have that life. I don't want to be a house mom or a housewife. I've always call it the eldest daughter in me that I am a strong and independent woman that, yeah, I don't know. I'm really at my wit's end when it comes to applying. And the only reason I'm applying for half of these roles, despite the fact that I am overqualified, is so I can at least get my government payment to live. And even still, it's not that much of a livable wage. Considering how much debt I am unfortunately in, and I am trying to pay back my debt, and I just physically can't. Because I don't earn enough. And come tax time, I'll still probably get taxed a shit ton and have to pay tax. Yeah. Anyone want to help a girl out?
The cost of living in 2026 is so expensive. Everything costs more. And it seems like month after month, week after week, day after day, it just keeps getting more expensive to live. Food, housing, insurance, just simply existing is so bad you feel it every single day that passes. And then you got people who are just overboard optimistic, saying adapt, pivot, pick up a third, fourth, fifth job, find your breakthrough. Bro, I don't need a fucking breakthrough. I need stability. I need bills that stay steady and don't jump up overnight. I need groceries that don't feel like I'm making a luxury purchase. I need a plan that doesn't make everything worse with the false promise that things are going to get better. I just want 1 year that prices stay the same and don't keep skyrocketing. But apparently in 2026, that's too much to fucking ask for.
It's official. The US just admitted it, which means no one is safe from what's coming next. Not your wallet, your paychecks, your savings, your cost of living. In fact, life as you know it is about to change. In case you missed it today, the US announced that we are buying back our own debt because nobody else wants it. I'm a monetary analyst. It's what I do for a living. I study the dollar. And a year ago, almost to the day, I predicted that yield curve control was coming, which is essentially when the US Ponzi scheme really kicks into high gear and is exactly what we're seeing today. Instead of the Fed issuing new currency to buy the debt, the US Treasury is issuing more debt to buy our existing debt so we can keep issuing more debt. And if that sounds confusing, it's because it is. But you don't need to know all the technical details. All you have to know is that the media is going to tell you that this is not technically quantitative easing, that inflation will not rise because of this, but do not be fooled. What they're counting on people not realizing is that yield curve control was used here in the US during World War II when spending exploded and there were no buyers of debt. So what did they do? They said, we'll just buy our own debt. This will guarantee the interest rates won't rise that much because the second they do, we'll just keep buying all the debt. Which sounds great in theory. They saved the system, but guess who paid? Everyday Americans. In just a few years, inflation jumped up to 18%. Can you afford if every single bill in your life jumps up another 18%? But not only that, the debt today is 10 times what it was during World War II in real terms. That means inflation adjusted, meaning that today's fallout would be far worse. We could be looking at not only double-digit inflation, but far greater than 18%. What this is really telling us is that the US is growing more and more desperate and that they're having to step in at a much more frequent rate. And every time throughout history that a country has had to do that, it always results in higher inflation for the citizens. Now, to be clear, what's happening today isn't technically yield curve control yet, but it is the first sign of what's to come next. And if I were you, I would be paying very close attention to what's coming next, because every dollar you have, whether that's dollars in your wallet, in your bank account, your paycheck, they could be devalued like that.
I know people are going to start saying, well, you got what you voted for. So my groceries, I used to pay between $150 to $200. Last week, I went and purchased the same amount of groceries that I usually do. And I ended up paying almost $320 something.
Just shut up. Shut up. Nobody cares. We couldn't care less. You betrayed your country. You betrayed your fellow Americans. By going to the polls and voting for Donald Trump, you were trying to own the libs. You were trying to make the libs suffer. But in actuality, you're being dragged down with the rest of us. This is something that I warned you guys about. By trying to punish the liberals, you're going to be punished yourself. But just like all of you MAGAs, you are so void of any intelligence. You did not see the writing on the wall. You just saw hatred. And all you wanted to do was punish the libs. Well, you know what? I don't give a shit how high your grocery bill is. I couldn't care less. You could suffer just like the rest of us.
Let's talk about these slumlords in 2026. First of all, they want you to make $5,000 a month. Second of all, they don't want you to have no small children. You don't want nobody to live with you. No nothing. They don't want no dogs, no cat, no smoking, no nothing. No sit on the balcony, no chairs on your balcony. Like, what the hell? If I made $5,000 a month, please believe I'll be buying me something. Not on top of that. Then they want the house to be about $1,200 a month. Then something wrong with the plumbing. Something wrong with the electricity. Like, come to hell, the damn doors won't stay closed. The damn bathroom door won't damn lock. Oh, they got holes right here. They got holes right there. The motherfucking plugs won't goddamn work. Make it make sense. They need their ass kicked. The slumlords for 2026, they need their ass kicked.
I wonder if the people in the government realize we are a consumer country. If nobody has extra money to consume, then how do you make your money? If all your money is just going to bills, how do you consume anything? Like, this don't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. But the people in the government, Congress, Senate, We are a consumer company. If we cannot consume, how does the company, not the company, well, you might as well call it a company, the US, because it's shit, that's how they treat it. But how can the country continue to go down this path? Because what people will do is they will cut back. Like, people are not even doing fast food no more because this shit too expensive. I told you, I went to Burger King for my mom one time. I don't even eat Burger King. Damn Whopper was $7. I was like, what the fuck? A damn Whopper, $7? They'd have lost their damn mind. Like, if shit's too expensive, we don't consume. I don't understand. I don't think people understand that. Like, if it's too expensive, we don't consume. Eventually you will break. Like, America is not too big to fail. I think there's people out there that think like this shit's just gonna go on forever. Like, this shit, every big country or kingdom, you fail one day. There is a day where the shit ends. So some billionaires need to wake up, because guess what? We ain't gonna keep on consuming if we can't afford the shit. I'm just saying. Hopefully this helpful to somebody. Chris with the gems.
My grocery bill in Georgia is now pushing $300 a week, and I'm not buying steak and name brand items. I'm literally just trying to buy groceries to feed my family. It's all over the news. Grocery prices are still up about 3% higher than they were a year ago, and beef prices are up almost 12%. So when people talk about affordability getting better, I want to know where. It's definitely not my grocery cart. But you know what really gets me? While Georgia families are worried about how much it costs just to feed everybody and put food on the table, Republican lawmakers pushed House Bill 947, legislation seeking to restrict certain purchases for people receiving SNAP benefits. Of course, all 6 sponsors were Republican. And when this bill got to the Georgia House, it passed 95 to 66, with Republicans making up almost 98% of the yes votes. So Georgia Republicans found the time to debate what struggling families should be allowed to put in their grocery carts. But where's that same energy for making the groceries in our carts actually more affordable for us? Because whether you're on SNAP or not, this affects real family. I'm in Savannah with 2 teenage boys to feed, and I know exactly how quickly even $100 disappears at the grocery store. But think about this. There's more than 1.4 million Georgians have been estimated to be food insecure. So there's more than 1 million people within our state struggling with consistent access to enough food. And the Republicans are doing nothing about it.
We literally are starving. We can't afford milk. We can't afford eggs. We can't afford our rent. We can't afford our prescriptions. We can't afford insulin. We can't afford healthcare. We can't afford our education.
It's just so frustrating that we did everything they told us to do. We went to school, we got educated, we worked hard, we did everything they told us to do. And then when we're actually out in the world, they want to charge us $1,800 for a 1-bedroom apartment that really ain't shit. And then when they talk about, oh, the future is going to be great for you, just got to work hard and stay down. How? A lot of people don't have savings. They're spending it all on basic shit, like housing and groceries. And what scares me the most is that more and more people are becoming aware of how fucked it is. And all we do, we record a video, we post it on TikTok, we post it on Instagram, we post it on social media, and then we say, well, I've done my part, and we close out the app, and then we go on about our day. That doesn't fix anything.
About being a millennial is we just got to watch our parents like try their best and be successful. Like, they all had homes and 401ks and health insurance, and they were like, we just did our best. And then they were telling us, they're like, just go to college and you can do anything. If you just go to college, you can do anything. So we all went to college, and now we're in debt. We have no fucking money or jobs or housing. Everything sucks. And then they're like, well, why didn't you go to trade school? And we're like,
how can you be mad at someone who literally does not have what they need to survive when it's the corporations that have been underpaying people for years? Profits are up, productivity is up, are wages up? No, they're not. And our money, our tax dollars, go to welfare to supplement corporations not paying people what they should be.
Some people don't wake up and the first thing on their mind is money. Everybody don't think about $1 consistently. I gotta hustle 24/7. I gotta have 10 streams of income. I gotta learn how to flip houses. I gotta learn how to sell on Amazon. I gotta go to door and sell vacuum cleaners. I can't just have my job and go home, enjoy my money, enjoy my time with my kids.
In the United States, y'all work in order to survive. Y'all don't work in order to enjoy yourselves. And unfortunately, that's the way that the system is set up in the United States.
Wake up, check your feed, check your texts, check your emails, go to work, get 100 things done, get home late, attempt to have energy for stuff like your kids, chores, hobbies, etc., fail miserably, feel awful, and then repeat.
I just saw a study that if you make $100,000 in this year of 2026, it is the same as making $32,000 when you compare it to the 1990s.
So apparently, if you make under $29.84 an hour here in Georgia, you cannot afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment. And we won't even talk about mortgages. So let's look at this data from the National Low Income Housing Coalition, because they recently pulled together numbers of how much you'd need to make per hour to afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment and utilities in your area. Now, the state of Georgia is listed at $29.84. To me, that feels low. I feel like if you're making $29.84, you cannot comfortably afford a 2-bedroom apartment and utilities. But that's just me. So before we dive into some of this zip code data, let's talk about how they defined affordability in the study. They took a maximum of 30% of a household's gross income, that's your income before taxes, that can be spent on rent and utilities, not just rent and utilities. So let's look at some of this zip code data here in Atlanta. Here you can see East Atlanta, Bankhead, West Midtown, and some of these numbers are just shocking. I mean, if you've ever looked for apartments here, you know that rent prices are just insane, but seeing it written out like this is wild. If you feel like you're drowning, if you feel like you can't keep up, if you feel like rent is too expensive, you are not alone. These numbers are wild. It's a problem.
Is anybody else suffering from, like, you are feeling like there's this one reality where there's so many people suffering, there's so many people broke, there's so many people that don't have money to pay their bills, right? And this is on TikTok. But then on the same app, within the same 20 minutes, I see people talking about how they made all this money at the strip club, how they're making all this money in tips, how they're booking all this like super expensive trips for the summer. And I'm just like, okay, I just saw like 20 people say that they're struggling, they can't afford to pay their bills, and they have $20 to their name. And then in the same TikTok, I'm seeing extravagant lifestyle and extravagant, like, come and work at Texas Roadhouse because I'm about to. One girl made like $1,500 in like 5 days, and I'm just like, that's not a bad living. Like, in 5 days you're making more money than me. But no, honestly, I'm literally like, are we broke? Is there money for a vacation? Or are we really making all this money? We're good and the economy is thriving. Like, I am confused. Do I need to work and get a third gig? Because I'm on my fourth gig at this point, okay? Is there money or is there not? Like, I really need to know. Are we struggling or we're not? Are we going on vacation and we're posting, or are we keeping those trips to ourselves and saying we're broke, we got no money? Like, I need to know.
A few months ago, I sat right in this exact spot and I told you that fall and winter 2026 could be one of the hardest seasons for grocery budgets. And I'm afraid I was right. Now I'm back and I need to tell you that what I was tracking then has gotten more serious. It has, not less, definitely not less. The problem, problems, they haven't resolved, and they're not going to soon. They have actually compounded, and there are new ones layered, because why not, on top of the ones that weren't even in the picture a few months ago. Fall 2026 here in the US is shaping up to be rough. I don't know how else to explain it, okay? Possibly significantly rougher than what we have seen so far this year. Definitely. And I want to walk you through exactly what I'm seeing, exactly why I believe it, and most importantly, what we can do about it right now, today, over the course of the next 60 days. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sutton's Days. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness. Now, we have been talking about this, May, June, and I'm providing you with the links. I'll provide you with the playlists that have these in case you missed them. But it's something that I have never wanted to be wrong so bad in my entire life. I want to be wrong. I want them to prove me wrong. I just don't see how that's going to happen. But here is the thing that I want you to hold on to throughout this entire video. Summer is always, regardless of what's going on, the best window. Okay. Summer is when seasonal produce is abundant and relatively affordable. Summer is when the urgency of fall, because there is an urgency, and winter, it hasn't registered yet with most people. They're not thinking about it. They're too busy playing in the sand or the pool or going on whatever vacation. Summer is when you can act at the lowest cost with the most options. And that's important because you want to be able to be sure that you can do this before the pressure arrives. So everything that I'm telling you today, I'm telling you now at the beginning of July, essentially, on purpose. There's a purpose behind this, because what you do in the next 60 to 90 days will determine what your fall and winter look like. If you have watched my videos from the last couple of months about, fall and winter grocery budgets, first of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much. And from your comments, a lot of you told me it prompted you to begin preparing. It prompted you to begin building a pantry. And that's good. That was exactly the point. It's more important than it has been in a really long time, even though I think it's always been important. For a lot of people, if it hasn't resonated before, I'm hoping that it resonates now, exactly how important it's going to be. But for anyone who did not see it, I'm going to give you the short and condensed version. Basically what I said is that the cattle herd is smaller than it has been since 1951. And we have 3 times as many people in this country. That our imports were stopped because of screwworm. And that there just is no way to make up that difference. And now screwworm landed here. So we're still waiting to see exactly how that plays out. Supply chains have been stressed for years, absolute years now, okay? We've been dealing with this since 2020, essentially, and they're not being fixed. They're not being addressed. They're definitely not being improved upon. Then there's the closing of the processors, the condensing of the amount of processors that are out there. There's so much. There's the lack of rain and fertilizer. So we're expecting significantly smaller crops. The wheat is being impacted. The crops that we grow as feed for livestock, that's being impacted. And yes, for my vegetarians, your soy is being impacted also. So tofu doesn't come out of the sky. Now, all of this has just compounded. It's like filling up the bingo card at a record rate. Now, the combination of all of those pressures, I said, is going to make fall and winter of 2026 more expensive in the grocery department